Today I'm going to show you how a hacker can access a target Windows machine and install some malware inside of that machine, or even steal some files through the SMB or SMB client server. So SMB stands for server message block. So it's a protocol that allows non-Windows operating system, non-Windows users to access a Windows machine. So let's say a Linux user or an AppOS user can access a Windows machine to share files, just like an FTP client would allow you to do. So let's say an attacker wanna find what hosts are up on that network. So first they would do an nmap command -sn, and then they would put, let's say, the IP address, let's say 172.17, let's say that 0.0/24 to find what host, what machines are up on that network. So now we can see we have two machines that are up. So host is up 172.17.0.1 and 172.17.0.2. So the first thing an attacker would do is to scan the first machine to see what ports are open and what services those ports are running. So an attacker would do an nmap, and then like a simple nmap command, and then enter. So as you can see here, on this machine, port 22 is open, running SSH. So SSH is not very juicy because SSH is not known to be vulnerable. So we can try the second machine to see what ports are open there. So we can run nmap and then paste the second IP address. Okay, so let me clear the screen and do it again. Nmap and then the second IP. Now, as you can see here, we have a lot of open ports on that machine. This is a Windows machine. We can know it's a Windows machine because you can see it's running NetBIOS and Microsoft DS. And it's also running FTP. So FTP is vulnerable. It's vulnerable because it sends the file in plain text. So anybody intercepting or being a man in the middle can read or sniff right off the bat all the messages in plain text. And also NetBIOS runs SMB. So SMB, like we mentioned before, we can use it in order to transfer share files with the Windows machine and also Microsoft DS. So now that we know that this machine is running some vulnerable services on those open ports, now we're gonna go ahead and use another tool called enum for Linux in order to enumerate the shares, enumerate the Samba services on that machine. So we're gonna clear the screen and we're gonna use enum for Linux. So assuming we don't know how enum for Linux works, so we can do enum for Linux --help to get some kind of help to see how we can use that tool. Now you can see we have a lot of options. -u, get user list, -m, get machine list, -s. But if you go down here, the -a, it combines all those commands above into one single command. So we can try to use the -a command to see what we have for the second host. So we can do enum for Linux -a, and then we're going to paste the second IP address that we had running those vulnerable services. And we have a lot of juicy information populating here for that machine. Wow. That client is in trouble. Look how all those services running here, giving attackers a chance to exploit that machine. So we can see here, there are a lot of information, a lot of juicy information on that machine. We have share name, okay. We have the server group name, and that is a lot of information. Okay, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna clear the screen. Now we know the share name, so we're gonna use another command, right? So we're gonna do an SMB client -l command to list all the shares on the target host. So we know it's running SMB. So we're gonna do SMB client -L to list all the share name, and then we're gonna do a // and then we're gonna put the IP address for that machine. and then we're gonna put another forward slash, and then we're gonna hit enter. Okay, this is SMB. Oh, I put it wrong. It's SMB client. So let me clear the screen. SMB client. Okay, here we go. Dash capital L, and then forward slash forward slash. We're gonna put the IP address of the vulnerable machine, and then another forward slash, and hit enter, and hit another enter. Now, as you can see, we have the share name print TMP opt IPCs. Now the last one, admin, this is generated by the service by the machine itself. And look at that, anonymous login successful. So that means you don't even need a password to connect to that machine. Shame on that client. Oh my God. So now what we're gonna be doing here, we're gonna try to connect to one of those shares. We're gonna try to connect to the TMP shares. Okay, this is what we're gonna do here. So let me go ahead and okay, clear the screen. So we're gonna do another SMB client command, and then we're gonna do forward slash forward slash. We're gonna paste the IP address, and then we're gonna do another forward slash, and then we're gonna put the name of that share we saw, TMP. Hit enter. Now look at that. We are inside. We are inside SMB. So now I'm going to show you how an attacker would put a bad, let's say a bad, or let's say a malware inside of that machine. So I'm going to open another terminal. I'm going to open another terminal here. Okay, so let's put this first one, and I'm going to open another terminal. Which one is it? Okay, over here. And I'm going to show you how an attacker will create, or you can create, let's say you're doing pen testing for your client, you can show them the potential risk. So we're going to go ahead and create a bad file. So let's do a cat, and then we're going to call it, let's say malware.txt, right? And then we're going to hit enter. And then we're going to put, this is a malware. And then we're going to do Control C to write the file. Okay, so now we're gonna go back into the SMB client. So since we're connected to that share name called TMP, so we're gonna try to put this bad file, this malware file that we just created, for the sake of example. So the command to put the malware inside of that machine is the put command. So we're gonna put command, and then we're gonna put malware.txt and malware again .txt, and we're gonna hit enter. And then if we do a dir, we can look and we can see that here it is. Malware.txt has been installed inside of the client system. This is very dangerous. So what you would suggest, what you would advise your client to do is to disable SMB shares on that machine. All right, I hope that helped you a lot. So I'm gonna quit this, and I'm gonna clear the screen. So if that was very useful to you, please smash the like button and click subscribe, and I will see you